Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of our incredible Resolve It in 30, brought to you by the Greater Philadelphia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We've had, certainly a lot going on during this pandemic time, and the real estate market has been really some type of topsy-turvy and really quite interesting. And we have had a lot of requests to have somebody talk about the real estate market. And today I'm really proud to introduce one of our really valued members who has a tremendous amount of experience in this, Mr. Tony Alicea from RE/MAX. Tony has been, and he'll tell you all about himself in a second, but he has a breadth and depth of knowledge, relative to this real estate market that is going to help anyone and everyone. So, I want to thank Tony for his time. I'm Karen O'Connell, as you know, and with me driving the train, so to speak, is our super duper Giles Thatcher. Okay, in the next 30 minutes, we're going to talk about real estate, and you're going to be able to ask some questions either through the chat box, or I think we'll have enough people to be able to do something live. We are having a tremendous windstorm here in Philadelphia, so we're not sure about the balance of power here with our Zoom platform. But anyhow, regardless of that, let me take a moment. Let me introduce Tony Alicea. Tony, you take it from here, and thanks so much.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name's Tony Alicea, and I've been a realtor for the last 17 years. It'll be 17 years this August that I got licensed, and really feel that I found my calling. I started with RE/MAX in 2005. I went to a boutique realtor for 4 years after that called Every Home Realtors, and they have an enormous website, particularly catering to buyers, and got really strong on the buying side. The listing side came natural to me. And since then, I went back after a 4-year time with Every Home. I went back to RE/MAX and have settled in at RE/MAX Center in Jamison, and I've been there 4 years. We specialize in Philadelphia, Montgomery, Bucks, Delaware counties. I'm well versed in commercial real estate, commercial lease, residential sales and lease. I do foreclosures, REO sales. If you don't know what an REO sale, that is a post foreclosure sale where you will buy from a financial institution and foreclosure, loan modifications. Anybody in trouble with a mortgage should reach out to me, because I really know how to deal with loan modifications, foreclosures, short sales, and there's a special way to talk to a bank when you're involved in a transaction as of that manner. I'm married. My wife's name is Joan Alicea. We've been married 21 years. We have 5 kids together. 4 have gone on, graduated from college. My youngest is at Temple right now. My other kids have gone to Westchester, New York University, and University of Pittsburgh. They reside in Cherry Hill, London, and Glenside, PA. I personally myself live in Horsham, Pennsylvania. So I love food. Before real estate, I had a carpet cleaning business, and before that, I was in the restaurant industry as a gourmet server, and worked some really impressive fine dining establishments in Atlantic City, Philadelphia, and Montgomery counties. And I think that the biggest asset I can bring to the table is my ability to negotiate. So a lot of people think that a successful negotiator has to be a rabid pit bull, and that's not the case. Although some people do like that style, it turns a lot of people off. I find the best skill set in negotiation is to be honest and fair. And sometimes you need to use time to your advantage. So when things get a little rocky, cool off, give it some time, come back to the table nice and cool with cool minds, and you'll come to an agreement. So Yael, if you wouldn't mind changing the slide, we'll get started here. So today we're going to go over a myriad of topics. I don't want to get into anything too complicated. The one thing I will say that this real estate business can be very complicated. A lot of the laws, a lot of procedures that need to be followed as per the National Association of Realtors and Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. So we are bound to a code of ethics of doing business a certain way. And what I like to do is make it as easy and simple a process as possible. By the time you're finished dealing with me or your realtor, you should have a good knowledge of the buying and selling process, whichever one you're involved in, and have a good knowledge of the market that you're buying in. Today, we're going to go over how to know your property's value, how to get your place ready for market, how to find the right realtor for you. So important. What to look for in a realtor. We'll also analyze the cost for listing, marketing, and transfer of property. This is on the selling side. And once you do get a contract or offer that you've accepted, how to evaluate multiple offers and negotiate towards the best solution to get you to the table. So let's begin at the top. Know your property values. Most people finance their property, although there are people out there buying cash today due to the increase in market value due to shortage of demand, inventory. So we're going to get into that on the next slide, I believe. But usually what we do is we go into the multiple listing service, look at the most recent sales. In this market, you only want to go back 120 days. An appraiser may go back 6 months to see what is the most recent, closest comparable sale. And when I say comparable, meaning apples to apples, not apples to oranges. If you have a 4-bedroom house, you need to comp it with a 4-bedroom house that sold within that 120-day period. With the same amenities, same conditions, same age, same square footage. On the square footage, you can allot 300 to 400 square feet in difference, bigger, smaller, to establish value. The other thing you need to look at is the condition of the property. Are the mechanicals solid? Are they newer? If they're older, have they been maintained? Windows are big, roof, siding, exterior, curb appeal, and again, any upgrades with bathrooms, kitchens, flooring, that kind of stuff. So this all factors into your home value. So when getting your house ready for market, you should interview a few realtors to get a comparative market analysis to see the value of your home. And your realtor should take a tour of the house first to factor in condition. He or she should be prepared to show you comps trying to establish value. They'll give you some tips on what to fix, what not to fix. Also, if you're in a dire need to sell quickly, how to sell as is, okay? When approaching a realtor, you want to talk to somebody that has at least 5 years experience with at least $5 million a year in sales. And nothing against new realtors, but if you go with a new realtor and the other realtor on the buying side is seasoned, he or she could take advantage of the lack of knowledge with the new realtor. So very important to get somebody that experience, somebody local, somebody you trust. A referral is always good from a friend or family that has used a realtor in the past. Okay. Also, ask the realtor what their credentials are, where they went to school, if they have any designations. I have 2, a certified residential specialist, and then I have the seniors real estate specialist. Okay, where this is more of a senior sale, downsizing, estate planning when a person dies and leaves the asset to a family member. So these are all key factors when looking for a realtor. So basically, the cost for listing a property, marketing, and transfer of property, there's 3 things that are going to factor in here. Usually figure on 5 to 6% commission to your realtor, which will offer out half of that commission to the buyer's agent when you're listing. There should be no other fees associated with marketing or photography. Those fees are picked up by the realtor. Any advertising online, any photography that's done professionally should be at the cost and expense of the realtor. The only other thing you'll pay over the commission are two things. Transfer tax, which in Philly right now is 2.17% per side, and it's split equally between buyer and seller. In Montgomery, Bucks, and Delaware counties, it's only 1% to each. Buyer and seller always split the transfer tax. Now, with this market being so hot on the selling side, some of the buyers, to engage a seller to accept their offer, are picking up that 1%. 1% of the cost of the house. What's the seller going to do? Are they going to consider that offer? Maybe. But I think it's a good tactic right now in this market. And
Tony,
then,
excuse me. Let me
Sure.
let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Relative to the that 5 or 6%. Okay.
Mhm.
A lot of times, people say, well, you can negotiate that number.
Absolutely. Mhm.
I'm
Just
sorry.
saying, you absolutely can. And 5 to 6% is the standard.
Okay.
But
And
if you
Tony,
negotiate,
is there a rationale for when somebody should do that and when they shouldn't do that?
okay, so my philosophy is this. A seller can negotiate commission. But keep in mind, you always get what you pay for. There's these online companies that offer to list your house with reduced commissions, but are they there for you the whole way throughout the transaction? And the answer is no. All they do is market the MLS. Once you go under contract, that's it. They're out. Full service realtor means full service. We take care of the conveyancing. We'll negotiate the offer. We'll negotiate every stage of the transaction, including inspections. Okay, so this is vital, and I'm glad you brought that up, Kieran, because a lot of people are misled. Well, I listed my house with this company for 4% or even less, and that is happening. But a lot of people are getting burned down the road because they get themselves in situations where they don't have the ability to negotiate for themselves. And a lot of times the deals fall apart, or they find themselves in court trying to resolve the situation or in mediation.
Okay.
So again, 5 to 6 is a standard. On the higher end, I like to list at 6% to offer a generous 3% commission to the buyer's agent, which will entice the buyer to go with that house over another house. Okay. Ultimately, it's the buyer's decision what house they choose. Ultimately, it's the seller's choice to go with 6%, to go with 5. If he's looking to save a few dollars, negotiate, 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 negotiate. Okay. Everything is negotiable. Okay. The other thing, the other advantage, and I did want to touch on this really quick, FSBOs, FSBO, for sale by owner. Okay, you can buy a house directly for sale by owner. If you do that without a realtor, please be sure to hire a real estate attorney. Okay, never go into a transaction with the seller without representation. Representation is so important. Getting down to the last bullet point here, evaluate and negotiate offers. In this market, we're seeing crazy amounts of offers per listing, on average, 15 to 20 plus offers within a matter of 48 hours. So again, if you don't have an agent, if you're trying to sell on your own, you're going to have to navigate and negotiate all those offers. And it can be very time consuming, confusing, and frustrating. I would advise you to ask your realtor, when these offers start coming in, how to begin to sort out highest and best. And just because somebody comes in at way over asking doesn't mean that you won't have problems down the road with an appraisal, especially with an appraisal. If there's any financing involved, that buyer has to cover the difference between market value, appraised value, market value meaning appraised value, and the contract sales price. They have to cover the difference in cash. And a good realtor will know and see the financials with that buyer's ability to do so. Okay? Could we move on to the next slide? Okay, let's talk about making money in real estate. A couple ways to do this on the residential side, commercial side, investment, and then we're going to get into buy, lease, flip, when it's a good time to do that. Right now, as we're talking about the residential market, we'll start with that one. It is a great time to sell. People on average are getting 15 to 20% above market value. The problem is, where do you go? And if you plan to buy right away, make sure that you have a realtor that has the ability to get you bought. You're going to buy high and you're also going to sell high. Okay. So you need to know your home's worth, what you're going to net post sale, how much money you're going to put down, whether you'll walk away with any money, and then decide, what your next move is going to be. Commercial right now is a great time to buy commercial property. Commercial with COVID last year took a big hit, especially office lease space, office space, the purchase right now. I have a couple of buyers that have made out really well. And I think that is going to come roaring back in another year or two. So if you're considering buying commercial, now is the time. I would advise anybody that has a business that's looking to buy a commercial property for their business to speak to their accountant to see and outweigh the benefits, the pros and cons of leasing versus purchasing. If you're looking at it from an investment perspective, it's good to buy office space now. And if you have the ability to lease it or sit on it for a year or two, you'll do well, because this is, again, going to come back pretty strong. Buying real estate, if you're looking to flip, or what we call holding on to real estate, where you can get a property through a short sale below market value, or even a tax sale. Tax sale is when the property has been liened by the township due to property taxes not being paid. You can pick up a house for a song and a dance, rehab it, flip it. That is a nice way to make money. But again, buyer beware. A lot of these tax sales don't allow you to have inspections. Most of them are cash sales only. They go very quickly, within 2 weeks to 21 days. And you need to know the property's current value, the amount of money needed to be invested to present to market on a flip. Okay, you need to know the spread, and you also need to know the cost involved, again, with listing the house with the realtor. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Okay, so we just got into this buy, lease, flip. The biggest thing with, and in this market, some people are selling really high and can't find a house. So they made a lot of money on the sale. And some are actually leasing for 1 year. For 1 year. They're going to lease for a year, see if this market dies down in a year, and then make a purchase. Sometimes when you list and you buy at the same time, this requires a lot of coordination on the part of your agent, because what you're going to do is settle in the morning on the property you own. You're going to have a loaded truck and move into the new house that same day. Usually we do a 9 a.m. settlement on the first house that you're selling. Second settlement will happen between 12 and 2. And after settlement, you get the keys. The property's yours. You can do whatever you want. You can move right in. You can hold off and start fixing it up if it needs work. Or what some people do is buy first, fix the house up if it does need repairs, and then list their house, if they have the ability to do that. Okay. When leasing, the rental market is really strong. People still need a place to live with this crazy market, and it's overinflated right now. Some people don't want to pay $2-3 grand a month for a luxury apartment, but they are. And the ways to get around that is, if you're considering leasing for more than a year, present the landlord with a long-term lease, and long-term meaning 2 to 5 year lease, and have your agent negotiate the lease terms. You can lower the rent, include some maintenance, include lawn care, those kinds of things when you're doing a long-term lease, okay? And again, we talked about flipping before and after, buying on a tax sale or a short sale, reinvesting your money into that property, and then getting it ready for market for a sale in this market is a good thing. The problem is finding the properties right now. These sales go very fast. So you need to have an agent that's on the ball. When you find something, you need to go after it. Okay, can we do the next slide? Okay, knowing the best time to buy. Well, obviously we keep talking about this being a seller's market. So it is the opportune time to sell. And real estate is no different than any other commodity. The more the demand and the shorter the supply, the higher the price, okay? So nothing changes here with real estate. What's driving these factors is a lack of inventory on the market and low interest rates. The economy is coming back. People are getting jobs. There's more demand for housing now than ever. And, you know, unfortunately, the cost of building materials are going through the roof. On average, in the last year alone, there's been a 30% to 40% increase in lumber. Roofing materials, windows take longer to order now because they're in such demand. Pricing is up as well. Contractors are really busy, and good luck trying to find a contractor to start on your project within a 60-day period. So these all factor in the pricing, the market conditions, and should really have your realtor explain that to you and figure out what's best for you. Okay? Can we go to the next slide? Oh, we're back here. Reach out anytime. Okay, so I don't know if there's anybody here right now. I'm able to take any questions you may have. My information is on my card, so I'm able to take questions.
Well, first of all, we want to thank you very much. And I think, as you all know, if you're watching this live or you're watching it as it's posted on our website, you know, Tony has given us some really, really, really great guidance, okay? I think one of the things that you would want to do is, if you're even considering it all, purchasing a property or selling your property, you really want to talk to an individual who's got the breadth and depth of experience like a Tony, okay? And Tony's telephone number, his mobile is 215-519-5907. And Tony, we'll get to your email in a second, but I do have a couple of questions / statements / maybe, you know, not gotchas, but things that you can react to, because I'm not the only one thinking this, okay? So suppose I'm one of these cavalier individuals, okay, that says, you know, I'm going to have somebody just knock on my front door and make me an offer. It's going to be great. I'm going to sell the house as is. I'm going to leave some of the contents here, and I'll figure it out. Okay. And then, you know, that cavalier person is going to be stuck, like you said. Okay. They didn't get an attorney. All right. Smartly, they didn't get an attorney. Okay. They didn't reach out and call Tony just to even have a conversation or a cup of coffee. You know, and now, you know, they're, you know, somebody's going to be, because somebody who's going to come and knock on your door is going to be smart enough to know what the, you know, what the ins and outs are. So Tony, in your experience, okay, of kind of the buying and the selling piece, all right, other than what you said before about the incredible value that an individual like you brings to the party, what are some of the things that some cavalier, crazy person ought to watch out for?
That's a really good point you're making. And I've had people do that and call me mid-transaction. Hey, I'm in a jam. The buyer's financing fell through. The house didn't appraise. We found something major at an inspection. There's just about at any turn, there's 9 points of negotiation in a transaction, okay? And at any point, things could go south, okay? And even with the realtor, doesn't mean that that can't happen. I've had clients or friends of my daughter's that listed with other agents calling me 2 days before settlement on $1 million sale, locked. They were in a jam. The father of my friend's daughter called me up and said, Tony, I'm really stuck here. What? And I said, tell me what's going on. And it was something that was preventing the settlement to happen in 2 days. And I troubleshot it and came up with a solution that nobody thought about. And they got the settlement. Well, he never forgot that. And he was going through a divorce situation. So he called me when he was ready to purchase his next house. And then a couple of years after that, he called me again because he met somebody and wanted to move to Florida. So the house I sold him, I listed, and we had 2 wonderful transactions. So I can't stress to you enough the value of having representation. So if you're not going to go with get a good real estate attorney. And if you're thinking of buying or selling, reach out to me. I'll be glad to guide you along the path and get you there.
Tony, one of the other things that we talked about before we got on live, and I really want you to touch on this because I think it's really critical, is somebody who's in the retirement phases of their life, okay, and trying to decide what to do. You bring a specific certification to the party that can help people. Can you explain that? And just, we've got about 3 minutes left, but please explain that because I think it's invaluable.
Okay, so I have the SRES designation, and that's a 2-day course. You're in a classroom for about 12 hours, and you learn about seniors real estate specialist is what it stands for, seniors real estate specialist. So there's a lot that goes into when you get older and you're gonna need some type of assisted living, be it a senior community, assisted living, or full on 24/7 round the clock care. Okay, so what do you do with your asset, your largest asset of your life? By the way, if I haven't said this before, I do want to get this out there. Take this seriously. This is the largest investment you will make in your life. You're talking about a 30-year commitment. Treat it as such, okay? With the SRES designation, I have the ability to settle estates. Somebody dies and leaves the asset to the family. And I've had situations where it's up to 5, 10, 12 siblings. And if there's a will in place, great, then we can execute the will to the deceased person's wishes. But if there's not, believe me, there will be war, okay? And so we need to know how to best sell that asset to its highest and best purpose, how to distribute the funds, and how to settle the estate, including any taxes for hereditary taxes, inheritance taxes, property gains. You have to pay taxes if you have a property gain of $250,000 or more. If it's less, you get a one-time exemption. A lot of people don't know this. They settle their house, they made a bunch of money on their house. 6 months later, they're hit with a penalty from the IRS for 18%. Okay? So very important stuff to know here. Okay?
Tony, just a quick question. You talked about that $250,000 exemption. Correct me here. I thought it was $500,000. I thought it was up to $500,000.
Any net gain of 250 or more.
Okay, understood.
I don't think that went up. That's always been the case, and I think I would have known if it would have changed. When did you hear it was 500?
Sometime in the past 6 months. But I think you're right. I think the way you said it verbally, it can be up to. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so.
Tony, I want to thank you for your time as we're almost out of time. But before we go, one more. Tony, how can people get in touch with you from a mobile phone perspective or from an email perspective? And I encourage everybody, reach out to Tony, okay? Especially members and referrals. Reach out to Tony. He is a wealth of knowledge on what's happening here. Even if you have a quick question, He'll take your call, okay? And if you need to get a reference or referral, contact me. You all know me, Kieran K. O'Connell at gphcc.org. Tony, how can somebody get in touch with you?
Well, the best way would be my mobile, 215-519-5907. I do answer my call. If I don't answer, shoot me a text. I do get back to people right away, instantly. I always answer my phone, no matter how late. And if you can't do that, then email me at the address below, remaxtonyalicea@gmail.com. Look forward to helping anybody and everybody, whether you're looking to buy, list, sell, commercial lease, residential lease, foreclosure. If you are in trouble with your mortgage company, you need to call me. I've helped a lot of people resolve issues that are behind on their mortgage without doing a short sale, without losing their home. Okay, so it's just about every facet of real estate that you would need, I can provide. Okay.
Tony, want to thank you for your time.
Oh, I want to thank you for hosting and
You're welcome.
having me. It's been a pleasure. I'm really excited to be a member of this organization, and I look forward to networking with everybody here. And anybody that comes across this video, please reach out and let me know if I can help. Yael, thanks for everything. Great job today.
And we want to thank our sponsor, La Mega, who really works very diligently also with our members. And they have special packages that start as little as at as little as $350 a week. Give them a call directly at 215-426-1900 and tell them you're members of the chamber and you want to talk about the deals. So everybody have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for taking the time. Don't forget to check out our website for all the things that are happening. Okay. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for having me.